Hey, what's up everybody? Yeti Nope TV here, and it is League Rotation Day. So you know what that means? Bringing some crazy spice back into the Open Great League to see if we can climb up some elo. And spoiler alert, we do. We've got Shiny Shadow Flygon on lead, Kanto Ninetail Shadow on our safe swap, and our general fairy type coverage. But fingers crossed we don't see any of that as normal. And then Shiny Shadow Gallade is our mainstay, just absolute nuke dropper. We've got some pretty electric battle sets here. I was able to get back from the office late today and just hop into the battle sets, get a few quick good sets to record. And so we've got those here today. And without further ado, we'll be diving in. We've got Sand Attack on lead with our Fast Attack with Flygon. I think that makes us a little bit weak to Dragon types. We'll see that a little bit here in these battles. Our backline doesn't really like to see Dragon types. So not having that Dragon type fast move damage does kind of come back to bite us a little bit. But we'll also see Sand Attack come in clutch here. So I'm really torn on what I want this fast move to be on the Flygon. Right now, it's Sand Attack, but we might see that switch up to Dragon Tail here in a little bit. And again, here, Dragon Tail would have been a great fast move to start off with. But I'm going to do what I like to do best here and just try and catch some damage. So gonna build up, throw on what I was thinking was going to be a Frenzy Plant throw. But the opponent built up again, but still threw, and ended up being a Grass Knot. So the opponent doesn't look like they wanted to burn their Elite Fast TM to get Frenzy Plant, which is a huge mistake in my opinion. Frenzy Plant is such a good move. Tried to build up and throw this on the CMP tie. The opponent doesn't fall for it, but then they do end up falling for it on this second throw. So we get this Weather Ball off. The opponent might have thought that they were throwing like one before we got to the move, but our pacing was just a little bit too quick for them. And we get the shield, which is huge. You guys know I love pulling shield early with this team. So now I'm going to come in and do what Gallade does best. Maybe give up a shield, maybe not. I know I can tank this damage. So we're going to let it through. Let Gallade soak up a little bit of damage and build up a ton. Probably going to give a shield just so we can maximize farm. And yeah, here we go. Gallade doesn't have all that much HP, but it's got a monumental amount of, energy. And then I hot swap into the Flygon to try and force the Dunsparce out or get a full farm down with Sand Attack. And now I've got so much energy that we can build up to back Dragon Claws here and force the opponent to make a decision. Give us their Superior or give us their last shield. They don't give us their last shield. And then comes a Licky. And I see this and I'm like kind of instantly seeing red, right? Because this opponent had plenty of time to use this Licky in the Love Cup. And they bring it into the Open Great League. So we're going to punish them with the Scorching Sands that debuffs. Rapid fire that Dragon Claw. And now I don't even need to shield this. We've got so much energy on that Gallade left that we can just come in, build up even a little bit more energy, throw this Leaf Blade, which will KO now, and then we've got a close combat ready to go. We're almost ready to go for this Dunsparce. And this is technically unnecessary. Leaf Blade would have done the job. So we go for a bit of bad manners and no bubble that close combat and still get the KO. So that is huge. Crazy first game to start off with. Tricky lead in the beginning, but the catch out of it really let us build up an advantage with that safe swap on the K Ninetails. And then again, just monumental damage output from this team. And then an incredible lead from us on this lead here. Sand Attack here doing wonders, doing some major fast move damage. The opponent doesn't even build up to a heavy hitting move, so I immediately no shield this. It could have technically been a Seed Bomb, but even still, not too worrisome. They come in with the Alolan Sand Slash. I know that my K Ninetails is a little bit bulky, so I get a little bit greedy here, and I'm like, I can tank this, which I technically can, but then they farm me down afterwards, which is brutal. So now I'm going to come in, start building up energy on this Gallade. I wanted to go for the CMP tie here, but we get the one turn bring in, which is horrible for us, so annoying, but that's just how the game is. We have to give them the shield because we're so low on health, and we throw this move on the CMP tie here. If the opponent wants to shield to force another shield out of us, they can, but they're not going to do that. They want to just kind of let their next Pokemon come in and farm down, and it's a Shadow for Alligator, which is tricky for us because they have such good fast move damage. But we get to this second Leaf Blade, which is huge because now we can pull both shields, and this Shadow Flygon that doesn't have all that much health can... Sorry about that, got a quick phone call, but they tried to catch on us. We don't fall for the catch. Build up even more energy, throw this Dragon Claw to take out the Morpeko, and now we've got the Scorching Sands almost ready to go. to land on this no shielded Shadow Alligator, and it does monumental damage, and it gets him to 1 sand attack range for the farm down from our low HP Flygon. So again, bit of a blunder on our end, shielding that, or no shielding that drill run coming in from the Alolan Sandslash, but I was raised by chemists, right? I'm a man of science. I wanted to see how much damage that would actually do, and it did a bit too much for us. But now we know to respect it in the future. Incredible lead coming into us in this next battle. Flygon was pulling insane leads for us. And then, tricky safe swap. So I've got to stay in here, which isn't too bad, right? Because I know that we can deal with that Magna Zone that was in lead with either our K9 Tails or our Gallade in the back. So I'm probably going to get 2 shields here even still, because I want to keep this Flygon alive because it looks like it threatens their team. So I'm just going to double shield to farm down all the way, and then let the opponent make a decision on who they bring in next. We've got a ton of energy to threaten this Pokemon, and in comes a Marowak. This is tricky, so I'm throwing the heavy-hitting Scorching Sand, threatening some monumental damage. The opponent respects it, they give us the shield, and now we hot swap into the Gallade, outpace to the Leaf Blade, and get this damage off, which is crazy. This won't technically one-shot, but it will get them so dang close, and now we can come up with the K9 Tails farm down before they can threaten us with any charge move damage. But they don't even KO with that move, so they come and get an energy head start with their Magna Zone, and then we can come and get some solid fast move damage off. They've got to go for a wild charge to do some really solid damage to us, but it doesn't KO, so we get the KO, and then we have a Weather Ball banked for this incoming 1 HP Shadow Marowak. And again, no bubble. We see a lot of bad manners tonight. I'm sorry, super long day, and we get some pretty fun matchups in these battles, so I had to take advantage of it where we could. But no disrespect to the opponent. We're just having a bit of fun. And then there's our first battle set. And I think we started off with a couple of like just kind of random battles too. So that might have been not necessarily 5 battles. But honestly, not too sure. So great start to this video. And into the next battle set. We started around like 2,000 elo flat. And here we are climbing. And again, like I said, Dragon type's tricky. But that Dragon type doesn't technically have Dragon type fast move damage either. So it's not super threatening to us. But we build up to the potential Grass Knot. We go for the catch, and we get it on this Ninetales. That's huge for us. Incredible momentum changer for us. We can build up. Not quite able to farm down, but we can at least force the opponent to give us a shield if they want to try and pull a shield from us. Or we can just take this opponent out and keep switch and still get to a Weather Ball with this Ninetales on their Dragapult. And they know, or they should know, that this is just a Weather Ball, so they might give us a no shield. But I'll take that, because any amount of damage we can get onto this Pokemon is great for us, because it really threatens our backline. Because their fast move damage isn't horrible for our Flygon, but our Flygon's a little bit weak now. So we've got to come in. We've got so much energy banked, though, so we can really threaten, probably pull both shields before the opponent can really do too much. And here we go. Yeah, second Dragon Claw coming through. And now it's up to the opponent to make a decision. And let's see what they want to do. They give us the other shield, so I'm going to hot swap into the Gallade, try and build up some energy. I want to try and sneak in a fast move, because that means that we take even less fast move damage from this Pokemon. We get debuffed, which is horrible for us. And now that means that this Leaf Blade coming into their double super effective Gastrodon probably won't KO, and it doesn't. But we can now farm them down and get the KO onto the Dragon type in lead with our resisted Leaf Blade damage. We could have probably gone for maybe a double resisted close combat 2 to get the KO, but I didn't want to mess around. We were debuffed, and we knew that the Flygon was like a little bit low and back, but we could have played out of that in multiple ways. But yeah, again, tricky lead for us. Able to play out of the save swap on the opponent's end well, and really helped us stay up front. Interesting lead here, Quagsire. I don't want this on my Ninetales, so I'm just going to stay in with this neutral matchup. Wait for the opponent to throw, but they build up a ton, so I'm going to let this go. It's not an Earthquake technically, so I know that I can live this. But they throw a hard-hitting Stone Edge, but it's resisted, so maybe they were just going for like extra damage, even though it's not the most ideal move. And then they save swap with no Dugong. So I outpaced this Weather Ball, forced the opponent to make a decision if they want to give us a shield or give us damage. And I know that I can live this Drill Run, so I'm forcing the opponent to make the decision of throwing the Drill Run. And they do, so that's respectable. But I am bulking enough on this Pokemon to live that and get to another move. And I intentionally build up to the Drill Run to try and bait the Pokemon into CMP tying us, and they do. And because of that, they let the Pokemon go down. And now we've got our Gallade that can come in and start to outpace this Pokemon. And again, one turn to bring in forces us to not reach the CMP tie in time, which is a little bit unfortunate. I don't want to play any games. I don't know what their energy exactly is right now, so I'm just going to throw this early, force the opponent to make a decision. They gave us a shield. It was a CMP tie, so good call on my part, not letting the opponent just outpace us and make us go 2 shields down. Now they go to Morpeko. I'm going to throw pretty quickly, making them think that I might be trying to bait or something, but they've only got 1 shield. I've forced them to make the decision, and they make the decision, and it's the wrong decision. We one-shot the Morpeko, outpaced this Leaf Blade, get to the CMP tie on the Leaf Blade, and now force the opponent to give us their shield if they want to take out this Pokemon, but they realize how much of a mistake this was on their end, so they actually fully undercharge this. Oh wait, never mind. Thinking about a different battle. Mistake on my part, but we can come in. We've got energy banked on this Flygon. Scorching Sands coming in and KOing this Pokemon. So again, energy management on Flygon in these battles has been monumental for us so far. I will take that. And this team is doing pretty well so far. Climbed up, I think, not quite a bit of elo, but enough elo for me for only getting to do like 3 quick battle sets at the end of the day. And then insanely difficult lead for us with this Galarian Moltres. So we got this Dragon Claw. We can outpace them to the moves, but our fast moves are doing double resisted damage. But I know that this opponent's most likely just going to bait an Ancient Power on us, so I'm going to tank this damage, probably hot swap into the Ninetales, and start pressuring some actual fast move damage. But I know that they're probably inclined to throw immediately to try and force us to shield. So I play to that, keep over farming, and now I can go for a full farm down on this Pokemon, but they recognize that, and they swap into a Galarian Corsola, which is also horrible for us. This Pokemon is so bulky. This team we're playing right now is so difficult to overcome, but I can get to these 2 Weather Balls, hoping that I can at least take a shield from the opponent, but they don't give us a shield, so now I'm actually going to double shield and go for a full farm down if I can, and then we'll be 2 shields down, which is brutal for us, but hopefully with this Galarian Moltres out of the way and this Galarian Corsola out of the way, our Gallade can do something in the back, and we do hot swap out. We do have play in the back, but we've got no shields and a lot of work to do. We've got energy banked on both of our Pokemon in back, and this Gallade can tank this damage, but we are on the back ropes here. Let's see what we can do. Gonna keep baiting so that if the opponent does try to overfarm too much, we can get to another Leaf Blade, and then hopefully put them into Weather Ball range. But the opponent knows where our energy's at. They throw at the perfect time before we get to that Leaf Blade. And now we are in a tricky place to be. Kind of build up, get to the Scorching Sands, and then might combo play out of this to get the KO on this, I don't know, what's it called? And then get the KO here. We get the hot swap. They don't catch on their Galarian Moltres, but I'm not too sure how healthy they are, and it looks like they're just a little bit too healthy for the double resisted Sand Attack farm down. So that game was so close for how much of an uphill climb it was. We weren't able to come out on top, but this team never stops fighting, and we were able to make it incredibly close. If we had Dragon Tail, that might have been a different game, but again, you can only use 1 fast move, so we made a decision, and we got to play out of the good matchups and the bad matchups, however they come out. Interesting, difficult lead here. Again, I don't want this on the Kanto Ninetales, so we've got to just play it out. Build up. We didn't build up to a Scorching Stance, so the opponent knows that they can live that. So we are just going to shield this, get to another Dragon Claw, and we can force the opponent to give us a shield, or just give us this Pokemon that's a really big threat for our backline Ninetales. And we can see what they have in the back. They hot swap into a Sand Slash, or a Alolan Sand Slash, and so we hot swap into our Ninetales, which is our best counter, and they swap into an Ivysaur. So a crazy build from this opponent, having a mid-stage evolution, kind of like our Shadow Prinplup. But we are now in an incredible position, and they throw on such timing that we can actually probably shield this, farm all the way down, and then might be able to get to 2 charge moves against this Alolan Sand Slash and back. And if that's the case, Gallade can just fully take the bench in this battle. It's going to get a break. It looks like we do get there, and this is huge. Sand Slash going on Ninetales going on a rampage against this opponent's backline, and letting Gallade just take a complete break, rest up for the next upcoming battles. So I will always take that. And again, if that opponent had shielded that lead Pokemon, it would have been a little bit different for us, but I think we still could have been able to play out of that if needed, because energy lead on Gallade is what we would have ended up with, and that could have threatened. And this is a tricky lead. Oh my god. More Dragon types Dragon types are all over the meta right now. And then we just hot swap into our Ninetales. Not a great matchup, but we can at least do something here. Force the opponent to give us a shield or do really, really good damage and probably put them into farm down range for the Gallade. The opponent builds up to a perfect timing, forcing us to make a decision. We make the decision, try to get this Weather Ball off, but the opponent catches it onto their Steelix, which is an interesting catch because it's super effective damage, but they know that they have a horrible matchup into this Flygon. So I'm going to come in, probably tank some damage because we know we can live this, what's it called, Breaking Swipe, and just go for a full farm down and then probably try to hot swap out into our Gallade and play out of this. But let's see what we want to do. Yep, priming up that swap, coming in, gonna try and go for an aggressive farm down, but look at how much Dragon Breath damage this is doing to us. I don't think we'll get there, but let's see what the opponent has in back and see if we can play out of this. We do have energy banked, and they come in with a Bastion, and I think I make a mistake by not overfarming even more. We still get this move off. It gets them so low, and we should have just built up a little bit more energy, because now we can get to this Leaf Blade, force the opponent to give us a shield or give us the Bastion, but now we don't have a move left over, and they can come in, farm down, and then they can outpace us to a move here, which is so brutal. I think we could have played that in such a way that we win that, but we just got a little bit excited seeing that potential double super effective nuke coming from the Gallade, and it came back to bite us in the butt, but it was still a positive set. I will take that. I will never complain about gaining elo, and then into what should be our final battle set of the night. Let's see what we have. Ooh, Mr. Floofy. That's a fun name. Ooh, interesting lead. Skarmory threatens a lot of our team. I'm going to play interestingly and just aggressively safe swap into our best counter, because I know that they probably have Mud Boys in the back, so I want to bank them out and try to build up an advantage where we can with our backline Pokemon. And they let us get this Side Shock damage off, so I know that I can outpace this Weather Ball and threaten to pull a shield, and then let them take our Ninetales and come in and get some big farm on the Flygon. So that's exactly what we're doing, forcing the opponent to either give us Switch or give us a shield. They give us a shield, and now we just let this go and are going to come in, farm down with this Flygon before they get to another move, and then see what we can do to play out of this. So probably going to not get too fancy, just instantly go into the Gallade, start building up energy, see if we can threaten what's in the back. And they come in with a Quagsire, so I'm going to build up to the CMP tie, throw this Leaf Blade, threatening an OHKO against this Pokemon, forcing the opponent to make a decision, and they choose to put it all on Skarmory. But now I know with the energy lead that I have and the shield that I have, we can build up to this CMP tie to the move, throw a close combat, threatening huge neutral damage, and the opponent shields it, but I know that I can get to this second close combat, and I've got energy banked on the Flygon. So let's see what we do. Yep, there's the close combat, massive damage incoming, and then immediate swap, Dragon Claw banked, ready to go. There's the KO into a very difficult lead, but we were able to play out of it well with that save swap matchup, and then give ourselves an advantage that we were able to play with into the end of the match. So I'll take that. That was huge. Yeah, I know you guys have seen this before, but I love the Gallade. The pacing on this Pokemon is just insane. Another great lead for us, but a little bit tricky. I know that they could probably no-shield and live this Dragon Claw, so I'm full sending the Scorching Sands, which I think end up might being a mistake here because the opponent does respect the damage and gives us a shield. But now I can just keep farming up. I can give them a shield, and if they do decide to keep building up and outpace to another move, I can just go for a full farm down. I could have technically thrown and forced them to either give us the Pokemon or give us the knockout, but I want energy on this Pokemon because we can probably play out of it pretty well. Oh my god, it's a Azumarill in back, so I hot swap out into our Ninetales, and the opponent falls for the trap and does the old you switch, I switch trick, and it gives us an incredible matchup into their double super effective Grass Steel type Parathorn. And we get to farm it all the way down, come out with so much energy. I'm building up extra, trying to force the opponent to throw, and they do throw early, which is great for me, because now I can get this damage off, potentially pull a shield, and it does pull the shield. So now we have so much energy on that Flygon, and the Gallade that should be able to outpace this damage. I don't want them getting any extra farm, so I immediately swap out, get to this Leaf Blade, and then I do believe that I'm going to undercharge this, so that the Flygon, oh, we don't undercharge it, and this takes him out, never mind. Sorry, disregard that. I was thinking we might try to come win this with the Flygon, but just not going to play it fancy, going to get the KO and take the win. And then, yeah, into the next battle. incredible lead with Bastiodon into Flygon. Just going to farm up a ton of extra damage, and then throw the Scorching Sands on what is hopefully a CMP tie. It technically allows the opponent to make a catch attempt, but I'm expecting them to have 2 grass types in the back that are grass poison. So I'm not too fearful of them making that catch, because again, I have a really good matchup of Gallade into this Bastiodon anyways. But I get the debuff, so I know that I can tank that, and then in comes a Medicham. So I'm going to throw this hard-hitting Scorching Stance once again, and I'm not going to swap out, because I know that now I can come in, farm this Pokemon down with our Kanto Ninetales, shield the incoming potential nuke move of Psychic or Dynamic Punch coming in. But since I didn't switch out, I can hot swap into our Gallade once this Bastiodon comes back in and build up a ton of energy while they're still switch locked. But they come in with the Azumarill anyways, and this is a great matchup for the Gallade. Once again, our fighting type is going to be a counter for their fairy type. I love seeing Azumarill with my Gallade. It's such a deceptively good matchup. We outpace the 2 Leaf Blades before the opponent even throws once. So now we can pull their shield or take their Azumarill without it doing anything in this matchup. And now they build up to a move. They've got, what, like 8 bubbles, I think, right now? So even still, I can outpace this move. They throw a Play Rough, so I know that they're even farther away. I know that they can't go for a catch there, so I just instantly throw this Leaf Blade. And now we should be able to outpace to the opponent getting to a charge move and get to this close combat that will take out this shiny Bastiodon. So, absolutely monumental showcase of how threatening a Gallade can be if the opponent doesn't have shields to play around, and if we've got an opportunity to build up an energy lead. Gallade, as always, really threatening the opponent's lineups, and I love having the Shiny Shadow Gallade in our arsenal. It's been an absolute unit, and it is going to be a for sure mainstay in our team comps. Tricky lead with this Flygon into the Primeape. Gonna probably try and build up and catch a Rage Fist onto our Ninetales, because I know that I can easily tank it. And we do pull this off, but the opponent now has to make a decision of what they want to do, and they don't switch out, which is a little bit tricky. I was trying to go for a sneak there, but it's fine. I don't think we would have won the CMP tie anyways and gotten this damage off first, so just going to give them a shield, respect the damage, pull the shield back with this Weather Ball, and then hopefully force the opponent to throw early so that they can't build up enough energy to outpace our Gallade to a move before we get the farm down. So I think it looks like it's playing out like that. Gonna hot swap into this Gallade, get the farm down, which is amazing for us. We've got an energy lead, even shields, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. And they come in with a jump bluff. This is horrible for us. I really wish we still had that Kanto Ninetales around to try and help us threaten this. So I'm gonna throw this close combat, go for a catch on the what's it called, Flygon, fail the catch. They make a catch back on us for the Dunsparce, and this is horrible. We are not looking like we're in a great position here. But let's see if we can play out of this. The opponent does outpace us to the Scorching Sands here. And let's see what we want to do. We no-shield it, barely live, build up a little bit more energy so that the opponent gets even less farm on their jump bluff. But I don't know if there's a way we can play out of this. We would have needed to land at least 1 Dragon Claw to put them into close combat range. And without getting that catch, I just don't think that this is possible to play out of. And so we can build up, try to build up even more. They weren't in close combat range yet, so it wasn't worth going for it. And they outpace us to this second Aerial Ace that gets the KO on our Gallade. So pretty brutal loss for us. That jump bluff just really threatens our team once our Ninetales is gone. So them having it in the back with that tricky lead of the Primeape just did not play out well for us, but that's okay. Into the next battle. Interesting lead for us here. Again, resisted damage on our fast move, but we do outpace. So let's see what the opponent wants to do. Build up right before they get to their 3rd Incinerate landing. Throw this Dragon Claw. I don't know if this could potentially be a Stone Edge, so we might be forcing them to make a decision. But they don't make the decision to give us a shield, but they do continue to overfarm for good timing, and we get to the 2nd Dragon Claw. So now we do force them to make a decision, and I know that I probably don't want to shield this now, because we can just come in, start farming up with our, Kanto Ninetales, and try to get an energy advantage here on this Pokemon, or whatever they have in the backline. So let's see what the opponent wants to do. They keep staying in, so I'm thinking we might actually threaten them. So I throw this Weather Ball before what I thought was them getting to another move. I do think that they actually do get to another move here, but they might have overtapped here, and they don't throw it, which is huge for us. So we don't have to get up on their shield, and it comes a Diggersby. So I'm going to build up a ton, but then swap into the Gallade, so we can start to outpace whatever they have in the back, and in comes their own Primeape. So I'm going to keep building up energy, put them into Leaf Blade range, and we should be able to have a Leaf Blade, and a Close Combat banked for that backline Diggersby. So let's see how this plays out. We get the KO. We have the Close Combat going for the throw. Not going to fully charge it so that we can have our Fire type come in and get this dub against a super, super bulky meta monster with the Diggersby. They know what they needed to do, so they undercharged it fully. But game over. I've got so much energy banked. I could have thrown either of the moves, go for the Weather Ball, and that's the win. So huge, huge win for us. Getting that energy advantage on the Gallade once again pays dividends for us. And we get a 4-1 set to get us some nice elo, putting us at the end of the day's elo at like 2080, so not too shabby. Really, really glad that we're finally out of the Love Cup just pit that we were in, and we can finally run some really, really fun spikes in the Open Great League again. So expect some crazy teams from me, and hopefully we can have these crazy teams slowly increase our elo to get us back up to that 2500 elo range that I normally float at. We don't have too much time left in the season, so I don't think the spice will deliver us to legend, but hey, you never know. We'll see what we can do, and I think that's pretty much it for me. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Yeti Nope TV. Have a good night. Thank you.